Okay, hopefully this time it's all good. Just do let me know if it any issues with sound this time. So in this stream, we're going to make a new Scorpion sample for some of the new render mode things and some of the new palette things. So let's start by, well, we open our Scorpion editor and then we want to make a new project. I'm just going to put this on the desktop for now. Just going to call this rendering and palettes, or render modes and palettes. Okay, we've done that. So what we need to do now is we need to, rather than make everything from scratch, I was going to copy a few things from Amigo the Fox. So I'll do that. Where are we? Game projects, Amigo the Fox. So I wanted the palette to begin with. Then I'm going to grab the Beastlands tileset image. In fact, while I'm here, I'm going to grab, let's have a look, animations. There's one called Mario Big. I'm going to grab that one. So basically just copying these animations and the sprites and the animations from previous games. So that's everything I need. Hi Mixel, how's it going? Just going to create the tileset object from the tileset image. Now we're going to just going to call that tileset. Okay. Now I need to make the actual map, so I'm going to call that map 1. Oh, no, I have to select the tileset first. Now I can make the map from tileset. Hit that. Now I think I decided I wanted the width to only be 32 tiles, the height it's going to be 14 tiles. So that's about 2 screens across. I'm going to duplicate that layer. Where's the rename? Okay. I'll call that background. Actually, I should call that sky, and that's all that will have. Then map will have we'll have this bit here a couple of times. I'll put that make a new detail layer, so I can put that on top of that. Then I will just fill that in. Fill that in there as well. So we've got a really basic level. And before we go any further, we'll just make sure we can actually load the level. So I'm just going to go level and then load level map 1. All right. Okay, at a glance, it's looking okay. We don't really have anything going on at the moment, so what I will do now is, so we've got our animations. We do. I don't need that one. I'll just delete that animation. But fall, idle, jump, and walk. Those are all the standard movement types. Or standard movement animations. So let's create a new actor. Doris, and I'll just call this one Player Fox. We need to change that to a platform, and I need to set some gravity. This is jump height of 20. That's not very high, so I'm gonna. Yep. Okay, so I think that's a bit better. Jump height of 80. That's a few tiles that will do. Oh, now it shouldn't be CPU platform. That should be just control platform because we actually want to control it. And then we just need to fill in. We don't need to fill in all of these. We should fill in most of them. We just align it to the tile that spawns on. Right. Walk right. Full right. Full left. Walk left. And jump left. So we've got a player we can put in the map. And I will put him on the objects layer. Doesn't really matter which layer they go on, so long as they're not really well, as long as I'm not overwriting a different tile. Okay, so that gives me a controllable actor, but there's a few problems. Main thing is we don't have any we do not have any collision with the tiles. So to start with, we're going to adjust the collision box. That we'll just make it so, well, we'll cover the entire character with the collision box, so they won't be able to fall through. Well, so that the tiles line up with the character's feet. That's the first thing we need to do. The second thing we need to do is we need to edit this tile set to flag a few tiles as solid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these ones here, and then I'm going to go, that one is solid. These ones here, I'm only going to mark them as platform so that we can jump through the bottom of them. So they're not completely solid. They're only solid when we're falling down, but if we're jumping up, we can jump up through them. Give that a go. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so we've got a really basic game. Well, it's not even really, not really a game. It's just a just sort of a demo. We can walk around. So there's two things that I want to add to this demo. One is render modes. So what render modes are? They are basically they're there are different ways of rendering the player. So we can make them invisible, we can make them sort of blink on and off, we can make them flash on and off. So I need like a button or something I can use to trigger the change. I guess maybe those springs will do. Yeah, I can use the springs, so I'll make it like a button, so it's extended by default, and then you step on it to push it. I'll need to create some really custom logic for that. And put all my blocks under the maps subfolder. Oh, hi, Mark. It's good to have you on the chat. I hope you're doing well. And Mark is the creator of Blitz Basic, which the Scorpion engine is built on top of. Okay, so I will use that as first block. And I'll select that as the second part up, and then I need a button compressed or button down, and then that's just going to be that one. Okay. Well, let's edit this map. Let's put those. Let's put a block in. I guess here will do. That one should be solid because we don't want to be able to fall through it. That one should be solid. The top doesn't need to be solid, but I'll need to add some custom logic to that so that we can push the button down. Oops, cannot pass -1 for constant button down. Oh, I know what I did there. I shouldn't have called it button down. I'm going to call that button pressed. It's because I've already got a constant defined as button down. Let's just fire that up in WinUAE. And we should have a button there. It's not going to do anything, but we do have a button. We can't really press it or anything, but it's there. So now we're going to need to write some custom logic pushing that button. So we need to add some new code, make a folder for my code, and I'm going to call this one on button press. And then I am going to I'm going to link that to the on player overlap. I'll do that one. Just set that to on button press. Hello, Zupradan. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, the tile set is called Beastlands. I'll see if I can find it really quickly on OpenGameArt. So, Beastlands is it's by this guy Surt. He does a lot of graphics that are the designed to be like Sega Master System compatible. So the same sort of limitations around only 16 colors. But in my opinion, they, for the most part, they actually look better than actual games on the Sega Master System. And this one was sort of like in very you get it's I think it's meant to be sort of like an upgrade of the art on um, Wonder Boy and Monsterland. He's done a few things like that. I just noticed this one here I haven't seen before. I'm not okay, this is not by the same person, but it's sort of like a darker, like a forest theme remix of it by a different author. So you see that sort of stuff on Open Game Art, since it's all it's all open and anybody can remix any art any way they want. But yeah, and Surt's done some really good other art, like I'm trying to. Well, he's done lots and lots of ones, but this is another one of my favorites, and I've used this in a couple of projects. So we've got this Monkey Lad in Magical Planet. So this is basically his go at remixing. Well, basically creating a new art style for the Alex Kidd in Miracle World, and yeah, I think it. Even though it still has the same limitations as the real Sega Master System, it to me it looks really really good. Anyway, I'll get back to what I was doing. So I've got so what I want to happen when button is pressed. So when no, that's the wrong. I want okay. So the extended top. So this bit when this bit is when the player is overlapping this bit, I want to do on button press. So there's two things I want to do. First thing I want to do is set the if I go to level and then I go block set, I'm going to change that current block to none. But I also want to change the block underneath it. So that will be block Y plus 1. And I'm going to change that to button pressed. So when I stand on that block, it should just go down. Let's have a look. Okay, so that worked. I've got a button I can push. The main problem is it doesn't really... Well, I mean, because I want it to stand up again. And so I'm going to need some custom logic for that. So this will be a little bit of a hack, but this is a quick way I can fix it. A quick and efficient way I can fix it. I'm going to... let's create a code block called on button pressed update. And then I'm going to go on animation frame on button press update. So every animation frame for the blocks, it's going to run this custom code. And all I need to do is... Well, I need to check if the player is still on the I need to check if the player is still standing on that block. So doing that should be fairly simple. All I really need to do is if I just go if player X divided by 16, or actually I'll just go 4 equals block X. So right shift 4 is basically it's a faster way of doing a divide by 16, and that's what we're doing here is we're changing the player's coordinate into the tile coordinate because the tiles are multiples of 16. We do a that is basically the same as divide by 16 to convert those two coordinate systems. So we also need to check that the actually no, I should be, let's do a not equals. Okay, so if the player isn't standing on that line anymore, then we want to do a couple of things. We want to do we want to set the current block to block extended bottom, and we need to set the top block, so that will be block Y -1 to button extended top. So I'm going to give that a go. Hi, Bitbeam Cannon. Welcome to the chat. Thank you very much for the kind words and for sponsoring a lot of those new features that have gone into Scorpion Engine recently. So what I'll be working on today is I'll be showing some of these new features with regards to render modes and custom palette manipulation. Okay, so we've got a button, and if we walk off it, then that's interesting. We can hadn't thought of that. If we stand on the edge, it sort of becomes a bit buggy, even though we're still on it. That's maybe something we could fix, but it's not. I don't think it's super important. One thing we really should fix is we should make it so that if we jump up, then the button goes up. Make it not just that you fall off the edge. And that's fairly easy. So I'm just going to copy and paste that logic again, and I'm just going to make it if actually I should make this. I'll make this an else if. Else if player Y is not equal to block Y -1. So if we're no longer on the top block, okay, so we've got a button. It is a little bit weird when we walk to the edges. In fact, what I'll do to reduce that is I'll make the collision zone really tiny. So we don't really need a massive collision volume, I think. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, I think that will do for now. Okay, so we've got a button, but it doesn't really do anything. In fact, I'm going to add a few more buttons. I'll just place the character for now. Yeah, I'll have 4 buttons on the side. Oh, and I better put the player back in. I'll put the player over there for now. And let's give that a go. Zupadan asks, I've heard that the runtime is written in Blitz Basic. Is that true? Yes, it is true. The runtime is written in Blitz Basic. It's not completely pure Blitz Basic. There is a lot of assembly language all throughout, and as I develop more and more of it, I convert more and more of the Blitz code to assembly language, because Blitz Basic is also an assembly compiler, so you can write Blitz Basic games with a large portion of assembly language. But yeah, the core, most of it is pure Blitz Basic. Anyway, okay, so we've got some buttons. They don't really do anything, but we have got working buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some conditional stuff. So I'm going to go if block x equals 1, and the reason it's block x equals 1 is because that is the x coordinate there. So we've got 1, 3, 5, and 7. And I'm going to make them all do different things. Well, all do different things to the player. Yeah, me too. I am also a big Blitz Basic fan, Zupadan. I didn't actually get my start on Blitz Basic for Amiga. I got my start on Blitz 3D for PC, and I tinkered in that for a few years before I started doing things in Blitz Max, and then in Monkey, which sort of let me do some HTML5 games. And then after that, I went back to the original Blitz Basics on Amiga. Yeah, Blitz Max was that was a really fun language to program in, and it was good that it wasn't just for Windows, but you could make games for Mac and for Linux. Um, I wrote a game called The Kiwi's Tale that was originally in Blitz Max, which was later ported to Monkey so that it could get it on HTML5 and Android and things like that. Then I ported it back to Amiga Blitz. Um, yeah, Zupadan, I did see. I did see the Blitz Basic for Amiga Jam. I don't know if I'll have time for it. Most of my free time sort of goes into Scorpion, but I am really tempted because I do want to actually write something in pure Blitz without maybe experiment a bit with something like some sort of 3D engine, something that I can't really do in Scorpion, or maybe just like an experiment for a 3D engine that in future I could maybe integrate with Scorpion somehow. But I'll keep thinking about it. If I can come up with an idea for making something cool in Blitz Basic that isn't related to Scorpion, so that I can give away the source code and all of that, then I definitely will do so. I had some ideas for like a sort of like a Resident Evil style game, but it wouldn't have 3D characters. It would still have those pre-rendered backgrounds, but the 3D characters would be like sprites, like Doom or Duke 3D. Okay, so what I've done here is I have made it so that back to default. So I've set up a whole bunch of render modes depending on which block you stand on. So that changes. Well, I'll go through them. So I've got blink, flash, highlight, and default. So I'll run that now. Look. So this is the blink mode. So you see our character is blinking. So that's quite a useful effect for if there's a player that or an enemy that's been hurt. We'll go to the next one. So we've got this blink mode flash. Actually, I'm gonna need to make an edit here. And get rid of that frame. Actually, I'll make a couple more changes here. So with that flash, I've got a custom flash there, which I didn't really want. So I'll get rid of that. But so it is possible to have these custom flash images for like the outline. But for the purposes of this demo, I wanted it to be as simple as possible. So this is just going to flash in one color. Oh, it didn't actually work this time. That was weird. Hmm. Oh, I know why. It's because I've assigned these as sprites. So I'm going to make these not sprites. As if they are sprites, then you need those custom flash images like what I had before. Okay, so it's flashing black, and then on our third one, which is highlight, it's also black. We don't really want it to be black because, well, that's not the color that you would normally use for a flash effect like that. So what we need to do is we need to make it so that the top color on our palette is the color we want to flash it. So we're just going to make that top color white. Let's try that again. We could make it flash any color really, but we'll keep it as simple as possible and just have white as our default flash. So our render modes, we've got our blink mode like that. We've got our flash mode like that. And we've got our highlight mode, which just keeps it one color. And then we can set it back to the default render mode. So those are the render modes. That's about half of what I wanted to demonstrate with this new demo. What I'm going to do with the what I'm going to do on this side of levels, I'm going to put in a no, another few buttons. Mark says, just amazed to see it still in use 30 years later, whatever it is. Yeah, well, uh, it's a wonderful engine a wonderful language to develop in. It's yeah, I mean, it's the syntax is easy. It's very fast. It's and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of support for it. If I get stuck on anything, I can normally just ask on a forum, and someone will know. Someone will have done what I've been trying to do before. Okay, so I'm just going to put 3 buttons on the side. Okay, so I've got 3 new buttons. They don't really do anything, but I'm going to do some real-time palette manipulation. So let's add some new variables here. So I'm going to go red on, blue on, green on, and I'm just going to set those to 1. Oh, and I'll need to look at, so one thing I should have checked is what the X positions of those are. So these are, well, 24, 26, and 28. So I just need to start from, also if like X equals 24. And then I'm going to do a trick. I think I learned this trick from the Wolfenstein source code. Although it could have come from somewhere else. But I can go red on equals 1 minus red on. So that basically toggles the value between 0 and 1 without needing to do if statements to tell if it's already true. And let's do the same thing again. So we're going to change the variable green on to 1 minus green on. And then let's change blue on 1 minus blue on. So we'll be able to use these buttons at the end to change what primary colors are turned on and off. Make a new variable, and I'm going to call this color index. Just going to set that to color index to 1 because I won't change the. Actually, no, I will change the sky color as well. I just need to do a while loop. So if I go while color index is less than 32, so we've got colors is 0 to 31, so we want to stop it before 32. And then what I need to do now is I need to use our color manipulation, which is I think it's under display. And yeah, I'll go color read, and I want to read from color index. And then I need to do some conditions. So I'm going to go if red on equals 0. I will say base set variable red to 0. Because what I've done here is I've read the color, the original color, into the red, green, and blue variables. And I'll just copy that a couple of times. So I've got red on, green on. Whoops, it should be blue. Okay, so I've set these variables, red, green, and blue. But then I need to write it back into the palette. So let's go color set. No, not cut. Sorry, color right. So I've changed. If red, green, and blue is off, then it sets them to 0. And let's see what that looks like. Oops. Okay, I know exactly what I did wrong. Is I have an infinite loop there because I didn't increase my color index. So I'm going to go color index +1. I really need to implement for each loops in Scorpion at some stage, but for now I've got this. And actually, I won't make it change color 0 because color 0 is the background color and it can mess things up. Okay, so we've turned off all colors except green. Turn off. Oh. No, I have made some more mistakes. See what I've done wrong. Okay, that one was supposed to be red, green. Okay, it looks like I didn't have any way of turning off green. Okay, let's do that again. So I've turned off red, turned off green. I can also turn off blue, turn blue back on. I can turn green on and off, and I can turn red on and off. And then I can use that in combination with these other buttons. So I can. Yeah, that was all I really wanted to show. Well, that was the new demo that I want to add to the Blitz Basic Sample Pack. I've made it now. I'll just be a second, and then I will catch up on the chat. Bitbean Cannon says not just in use, but still inspiring, empowering whole new generations become programmers and game creators. It's incredible legacy. Kudos. Yeah, absolutely. I would. I'm not sure if I would have gotten into Amiga development or into Amiga development as much as I have done without Blitz Basic, and without Blitz Basic, there probably wouldn't be a Scorpion engine either. And yeah, and it's Zupadan says the Blitz Basic Jam Discord has grown to be a very busy and helpful community. Delidus, of course, being the primary source of knowledge. That doesn't surprise me much, as Delidus has been very helpful on the English Amiga board. I'm not actually part of the Blitz Basic Jam Discord. I don't suppose you could post a link or in the chat or send me a private message, something like that. Mark says, it's weird, I'm a language geek, so I'm very into modern C++ and Swift and Python and stuff. It's always a nagging feeling that programming's gotten too complex or something. There's so many abstractions on top of what is really happening. Maybe it's better for people just to have to deal with it. Yeah, I get that, and it's very cool in Amiga just being able to bang the hardware directly. Thanks for posting the link, Zupadan. I will just copy and paste that for later. And Zupadan says, I find it very refreshing to work with Blitz Basic after my day job of C++, C# programming. I love the restrictions of retro systems. Yeah, I think that's that is something that I enjoy about the Amiga, is that it has very specific limitations on things like palettes and sprites, and so it becomes a bit of a puzzle making something that fits in those limitations, or pushes the limitations. Anyway, I think I'm done with that demo for now. I did want to show one other demo that is going to become part of the official Scorpion demo pack. Zupadan says, I enjoyed Pico 8 too for the same reason. I have not actually written a Pico 8 game, although I actually have an importer for Pico 8 cartridges in Scorpion Engine. It's not a complete importer. It just sort of rips the tile set and the levels, and the I think like it rips the cartridge label, so you can use that as splash screen as you want, if you want. But yeah, otherwise at some stage I should look at Pico 8 development. I'll just see if I've got no, I don't. Oh, Gel. Is this one? Is this one I imported? I think it is. It looks like it is. Yeah. So this was so GelP is, I think it's one of the sample games for Pico 8, and so I use that for testing the Pico 8 importer to Scorpion Engine. And I mean, this isn't a complete port or anything. It was just sort of just to show, hey, we can rip the graphics and the map stuff and put it into a Scorpion Engine game relatively straightforward. Although it would take a lot of effort to actually finish porting this game to Scorpion Engine. But that's not what I wanted to show. What I wanted to show was Where are we? Oh, it's probably upper level. No. Where did I put it on the desktop? Yes, there we go. Okay. So, this is a this is just a short project. There's not really much to it. This is a this is sort of the title screen part of the game Elasticity. So Elasticity has been a game that I've been working on for years now. Though most of my effort in the last few years has gone into the Scorpion engine because we're using the Scorpion engine for the game now. Hello, Acid Bottle. Welcome to the chat. So just showing that this is I'm adding 2 samples to the Scorpion engine for the next release. This is one of them. So this was the title screen for Elasticity, and so it has quite a cool effect. It has a couple of cool effects. So one is the text gets shot onto screen. These lasers shoot the text onto the screen. Then it goes up, and then it flashes, sort of menu, but it doesn't, like, the menu isn't interactive or anything. So that's so this is going to become a public demo. So I've talked to John Shakiris, who is my project partner in Elasticity. He's agreed to that I could make this public. So the guts of it is we've got these animations, and so you see like the letter. So we've got the letter, then it flashes. And then same with these flames. So we've got these flames these lasers that flash on the screen. And there's a few tricks here, and so these tricks will probably only really make sense if you're a Scorpion user already. But I'll go through how we managed to make it so that the performance of the screen is fairly smooth, even though there's a lot going on at once. You might have noticed that for all of these animations, I've got Destroy Actor. So after the text is, after this letter is rendered, it then destroys the actor. But that's not what you see. So what you see is, even though I've told it for each letter to destroy the letter at the end of the animation, it stays in the background, and it even moves around a bit. And so there was a trick for that. The trick is just, if I go to my code here, so there's not too much code to it. It's all basic. Most of it's basically in this one code block, but so I have it whenever this actor. So I've got this one actor, and I've called this actor generic. And when this actor is spawned, all it does is it disables clearing. So by disable clearing, it basically means that it doesn't, after it's rendered it, it doesn't clean it up. It just permanently bakes it to the background, or it bakes it into the background until something else draws over top of it. So if I disable that line, so that it functions like a regular actor, I'll show you what it looks like. So you see basically everything disappears after it's finished, because I've told it I want to clear that image, that animation. But with this turned on, with disable clearing on actors rendering, those letters, those lasers, those are all baked into the background. So they stay basically permanently in the background, which means that after all of the letters are rendered, I can then scroll down. So that last bit, it scrolls down. Then I flash the screen, and when it fades back in, it's showing a different image. Okay, well, that's Actually, because Acid Bottle wasn't here earlier, I'll just quickly go back to the other demo that I'm including in the next update to Scorpion, which is render modes and palettes. So that covers some of the same things as the Elasticity title I showed just then. But it's sort of very basic level with the Amigo the Fox character. I've got these buttons over here, and I can use these to change the render modes. So we can do different things to the player. So that's on that side. If I go over to the other side, I can change the palette. And these different combinations of turning these channels on and off. Anyway, so I'm only an hour into the stream. I didn't really have anything else to show or discuss at this point. Unless anyone has any questions, I might call it an early night, or if anyone's got any suggestions for things that they want to see. Oh, thank you, Mixels, and yeah, I'll try to include the yeah, I'll include those two demos in the public release of Scorpion sometime in the next couple of days. Acid Bottle says a vertical parallax demo at some stage, please. Yeah. Well, I guess we could probably. I think I might be able to do something relatively quickly to have a vertical parallax. Bitbeam Cannon says, how is Scorpion Boy holding up in this latest build of Scorpion? To be honest, I haven't tested it recently. I'm assuming that if there were frame drops, hopefully it'll be a little bit faster because I've spent a bit of time optimizing it, especially optimizing things related to code blocks. Should Bitbeam Cannon, should I open Scorpion Boy and give it a test if you don't mind it being tested on stream? Okay, I'll fire it up soon. Sorry, I just need to get a lozenge. I'll be back in just 30 seconds. Okay. Well, let's let me find it, Scorpion Boy. Just going to grab the latest commit. Oops. I just need to undo. I don't think I made any changes to it, but last time I ran it, it would have marked a few files as being changed, even if I didn't make any changes. Oh, actually, yeah, I remember why. I showed the game at an event and I patched the latest music into it, but I assume the latest music is in it now, is in the actual project. So let's go to that. Okay. So just a bit of background. Scorpion Boy is a game that's under development by Mike at Bitbeam Cannon, and I've been giving a hand on it here and there. It's also something where we've also been making a few videos showing development of the game. Sorry, I just turned the volume at my side down. Is the volume of the game too loud? Can you still hear me? Oh, actually, I should have. Let me know if the volume of the game is too loud compared to my voice. Okay, I will. I'll turn that right down. Turn the desktop audio way down. So hopefully that won't interfere with my voice too much. We had it set to Amiga 1200 with 8 mega fast RAM because we want to be able to boot it really fast for testing. But I'm going to try it Amiga 500 mode without any fast RAM, because that's sort of our target for the game is more or less an unexpanded Amiga. Well, I say unexpanded, but I mean Amiga 500 with a meg of slow RAM, or 512k of 512k of chip and 512k of slow RAM. And it does take a little bit of time to load the level on those settings. I might need to see what I can do about improving loading times on. Oops. Okay, looks like it looks like we don't have quite enough memory for some reason. So I'm going to put it with mega fast RAM. At some stage, we might need to have a look at what we can do to reduce the memory usage. I'll try it with Amiga 5. Actually, no. Instead of Amiga 500, I'm going to change it to Amiga 600, which I think comes with Amiga chip RAM by default. See what it looks like on the. See if it runs on those settings. Okay. Yep. So far, it's looking good. Frame rate might be a little bit slow, but it's playable. It's not too bad, and we have got a lot. We are showing a fair bit. So we've got a big character. We've got a couple of foreground elements. We've got all those layers of parallax. This is something that I thought was quite neat. Is we've got tinted glass there, so Mike arranged the palette so that we're able to have multiple different shades of tinted glass. Bitbeam Cannon says, I think it's due to the Sprite decals and foreground stalactites. If those are turned off, it runs very smoothly on A500. But that's fair enough. So, yeah, everything sort of adds to everything adds to the like everything adds up, and you get to a certain point where you get a few frame skips. But overall, it seems to be okay. It's yeah, I think most of the time it's okay. It's just sort of noticeable sometimes. And yeah, I think the thing is, we go. I mean, Scorpion is going to get faster and faster as it's more and more optimized. Oh, just trying to hit him with the boomerang. Might be a little bit too high. Sword. The foreground seems to have a lot more than 8 colors. Is it really only 8? Well, oh, right, space bar. There we go. Okay, so we've got different weapons we can use. So we've got this grenade. Yeah, the boomerang is one. Yeah, so the palette is quite complicated. But I assume Mike won't have any problem with me breaking it down. So let's do some WinUI debugger tricks. So I'm going to turn off all the sprites. I'm going to MS0. And so that's what it looks like without any sprites. You can see it doesn't have those foreground stalactites. It doesn't have the background. It doesn't have the buildings in the background or any of those other background elements or parallax elements. You do see those copper bars because we do change the color every scan line, the set of colors every scan line, so that we can have a lot more color in the background. Yes, as Zubadan says, it's black magic sprite usage. So let's turn on. I'm just going to turn on one layer of sprite. So I'm going to. Sorry, I just need to do some quick calculations here. So I want the top 2 sprites to turn on. So that's C00. So I just need to go MSC0. So I've turned on the I've turned on the background layer. But there are some details missing from the background layer. So if you look at the building tops, all of the buildings are the same height. There's no sort of variety in the building tops. So I'll turn that on next. So that's the next 2 layers down. So I just need to go MS F0. Now you can see near the top left, that's another sprite that that spire, and then at the top right we've got another decal for as the well, it's near the middle of the screen now is the satellite dish. So those are just a couple of background details that make it look a little bit less repetitive. Then the next 2 sprites are half one side of the stalactite. So if I go MS FC, you see that we can only see the left side of those foreground stalactites, because those foreground stalactites are sprites, and you see from their colors here. Well, it's these 3 colors here are used for the left side. Then if I turn on all the turn on all the sprites again. Then you can see the right side of the stalactites are these three colors. So we're using every single sprite channel in the service of the that parallax background and the parallax foreground. Oh, yes, as Bitbeam Cannon says, this is not dual playfield. Scorpion doesn't support dual playfield at all, so all of the parallax tricks are, well, it is just that. There are no Scorpion games that use dual playfield at all. And yeah, as Bitbeam Cannon says, the top panel is its own unique palette. Well, I think that's all for a Scorpion Boy, unless Bitbeam Cannon, unless there's anything else on Scorpion Boy thought I should mention. I might put on the Gothic Vania demo next. So the Gothic Vania demo is AGA, and it uses several layers of full screen parallax. Bitbeam Cannon says runs silky smooth on AGA, and hopefully we can optimize it enough to keep stalactites on A500. Worst case scenario is we can make it turn off the foreground sprites through OCS and ECS. Yeah, I think we should be able to work something out. I agree with Zupadan. It will be a great showcase example for Scorpion Engine. Yeah, so the foreground elements there, they are full blown actors, so they have a lot of logic attached to them, which will be slowing down the game. I think eventually we might be able to make some more of that logic baked into Scorpion. So, because hard coded logic is always going to be faster than custom logic. But I'll put Scorpion Boy aside from now. Another where are we? Scorpion demos. So, oh. Oh, hang on. Where are we? Projects, editor, Vania. Oh, sorry. I'll just quickly go back to Scorpion Boy. Where are we? Scorpion Boy. Bitbeam Cannon mentions that you can use the dead robot as a platform. So there's a few. And also you can slip off the column top. So there's a few tricks that are used in regards to that robot. So if I go over here, and I can use my oops, I was a little bit too slow then. I can use my sword to deflect the shots back at him. So now the robot's destroyed. Because it's destroyed, it's now part of the background. So I can walk on it. I can also use it to jump up to there. You can see the top of that's a slope, and it's a slippery slope. So if I just stand still on there, I'll slide off it. And also, you might have noticed every time I hit the ground, there's dust shoots up from it. So These are all examples of things Mike has done that it sort of demonstrate the really bespoke things you can do in Scorpion to just make it that well, it's a term that's sometimes used in game development, juicy. So just all these things like dust and sliding, and they all add to the juiciness of the game. This other project I want to do, I mostly just show to Zuperdan, is one called Gothic Vania. So this one actually does require an AGA machine because it does some AGA only sprite tricks. But you can see that there's there's 3 layers of parallax. There's the moon that doesn't move at all, and then there's the mountain layer, and yeah, all of that is Sprite. So if I turn off sprites, won't be able to see the background at all, and that's only possible in there's a few, also the other thing is it's not repetitive. The pattern doesn't repeat over the entire screen. That's only really possible in AGA because we can use wider sprites, and there's also an AGA only feature where you can have sprites loop. So if you've got a sprite on the left side of the screen, it copies it to the right, and so it gives this impression where you've got a perfectly looping parallax. But something that Acid Bottle mentioned before is he wanted to be able to have parallax that went in all directions. So I haven't really done that in Scorpion before, but I guess I could give it a try. I'm going to need I'm going to need a game project to which one am I going to use? Just going to make a copy of my render modes and palettes. So this is going to be experiment. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. Vertical AGA Parallax. Zuperdan asks, character sprite 2. No, the character was still a Bob. I was using every single sprite for the background there. I could have maybe, if I used half of the sprites for the background, so if I only had like 1 layer of parallax, I could have used the other sprites for the character, but I wanted the parallax to look as good as I could make it, so I used every sprite for the parallax. Anyway, so I've got this I've got this map that I'll just make sure that vertical parallax AGA. I'm going to do some cleaning up here, so I'm going to need to. In fact, I want to make a whole new level, just completely from scratch, and I guess it's going to need to be fairly big. I'm going to delete that map, make a new map. Zuperdan says makes sense then because it's all overlapping. Yeah, so it's very difficult to. There are some tricks you can use to have make it look like layers are overlapping, but it's really just one layer. But I didn't do any fancy tricks like that. I just made it so that it was just two separate parallax layers. Zupadan says tiled is brilliant. I use that for all my projects. Yeah. I mean, it's I think I've pretty much always used it for Blitz basic games. I think I originally had it so that like when I was originally working on Elasticity, it was using the um, I think I was using the CSV output, so I would do like I think it was like a save as maybe there was an export as. Yeah, I was using the CSV output, and so with the CSV output, it was pretty easy to import into Scorpion. But anyway, I'm gonna do I know what I'll do. I'll make like a waterfall level. That might be quite fun. But I'll just sort of put these all around the places. I don't normally have a level that's actually maybe a waterfall level wouldn't really work. No, I should have a sky background. The waterfall level I don't really need any special parallax for, but if I have a sky background. Zupadan says, you probably know this, but you can write your own exporter quite easily. I've done it several times, even towards Blitz projects, and wrote a binary exporter. I actually did not, I didn't know that. Like, do you need to recompile the source code for tiled, or is there like a way of writing a plugin that you can use? Sorry, I've done shortly. I'm just randomly putting platforms around. It's going to look a bit ugly, but that doesn't really matter. The point of it is just I want to be able to try and demonstrate that we can do a kind of uh, 8-way parallax. Zupadan says, "Oh, just the JavaScript file that resides in the same folder as the tiled project." I honestly didn't know that. I might have to look into that at some stage. Anyway, we've got this weird looking level. Oh, in fact, I want to get rid of. I'll get rid of the background layer because I want the background to be just invisible. And then I'm going to need to make it so that my platforms, wherever they are in the tile set, are where are they? Sorry, I'm just a little bit lost here. Where did I? Oh, there. Okay, those ones. So I just need. No, I need to edit that anyway. I need to select that, and I'll make that as platform. Just make sure that I can't flip through it. Okay, so let's run that in WinUE. Okay, well we got sort of a weird level that we can sort of explore in 8 directions. Thank you very much for coming by, Zupadan, and yep, I will. I'll join that Discord sometime after the stream. Um, well, so I'm gonna get rid. Let's set that to black. And now I'm gonna go to Open Game Art. I'm gonna look for like a sky background or a space background. But it needs to be 8-way looping, which might be a little bit hard to find something that's that looks okay from 8 directions. I just look for space. The space will be fine. I just need a space background. Ah, is that one? Didn't want anything with too many colors. What's that one? I guess that one's not too bad. It's not sure about the contrast, but I might want to boost the contrast just a bit. But it looks like it will repeat pretty well. Ah, did that not copy? Let's try that again. Ah, won't let me copy to the clipboard apparently. For some reason. Let's have a look. So um I need to crop out a fairly small bit of that. Yeah, actually that might be one problem is that so if I just go 256 by that's it's not very much in the way of I just have another look around the pattern. This one is pretty good. It's just that it's quite large, so there's not really that much variety, and there wouldn't be that much variety on screen at any one time. So, um, might not be too much of a problem. So it is just a demonstration. It doesn't need to be. It's just a quick demonstration. It doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah, I think I'll run with that. I'll need to make sure that it loops in all 8 directions. I can't remember how I did that. Do that in Paintshop Pro. Seamless tiling. That's what I want. Bidirectional. Yeah, let me just. That might look a bit weird. Yeah, I'll keep looking around for another background. That. Actually, what about seamless? Is that going to find... No, they're mostly for things like grass. Need a seamless sky or a seamless seamless space. That one might work, and that's about the right. That's actually the right size. And yeah, I think I'll go with that. So it's really just demonstrating vertical parallax. So I can, since these demos will be open source anyway, someone can swap them out with better parallax. Of course, let's call this parallax, and then I'll call this. I'll leave that as blue coal. I might need to make a note that actually what's the oh yeah, oh okay, so it says public domain CC0, so I don't technically need uh to create it, but I'll make a note to do that anyway. No worries, acid bottle, and to be honest, I don't really know it for sure that it's going to work, but we will see. I'm pretty sure it will, but if it doesn't work, then it's not really a big deal. So let's have a look. So this will be our base. It's got too many colors. We really want to, because it's going to be a sprite, we really want to make it like 16 colors at most. Now is that going to, should we do, what's Hero Diffusion like? Try Octree. Yeah, Octree looks pretty good. So we've got a range of blues. I am going to need to copy those into the palette one way or another, which is always a bit of a pain. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it AGA mandatory mode. Might as well make it fetch mode 1. And I'm going to make my sprites from the 33 to 47 range. So I've got a whole new set of colors to play with. Um, actually, I should put that first one I'm going to put as the background color. Is it 008? F, 2Fs. Yep. Then actually no, I am going to put it there. It's not going to be used in the sprite, but I'll just keep it in that part of the palette. Those two blues are pretty close, so I don't think it matters if we don't have both of them. Now, sorry, this is going to be a little bit boring for a couple of minutes while I get my palette across. Could probably actually animate this, but it would animate this background. It would take up a massive amount of RAM. It's going to take up a massive amount of RAM just as it is because it's full screen, and I'm going to need to double the height. So you see the reason for that soon. Okay, so we're nearly done here. Nearly got palette across. And then the last color. Okay, finally copy that across. So I'm going to need to make a new animation, and I'll put that on Parallax. I'm going to call that Parallax Anim. It's just going to be this blue coal. I'm going to align it to that corner, and I am going to... I need to make this only Sprite, so this is only rendered as a Sprite. I'm going to make a Parallax actor. So this and that is going to be Parallax lock. So I think that's the one we want. I might need to change some of the settings. Let's set the default animation to Parallax anim and set to there. Let's get rid of some of this code. So some of this code was just it was only really for that that last one, the our button pushing demo where you could change the colors. Okay, so we load map 1. Then after we load map 1, I want to spawn a... so let's block spawn a parallax actor, and I'll make that at 0, 0. I'll just see what that looks like. I know it's not going to work very well, but just see what actually happens if I do that. Okay, it didn't seem to actually spawn it for some reason. It didn't seem to do anything with it. I don't. Oh, I know what I've done. Well, I know one problem is my sprites need to be 64 pixels wide. I don't know if that was the only problem, but I'll see what happens. Because yeah, with 16 pixel wide sprites, I won't be able to cover the screen, but I can with 64 pixel wide sprites. There we go. Okay, so you can see there's a couple of problems there. So the first one is that it doesn't, it draws over everything. We want it at the background. So fixing that's fairly easy. We just need to go to display and background sprite pairs and 4, because there are 8 sprites. We want to set all 4 of the pairs of sprites to the background. We're saying change the background sprite pairs to 4. So that should at least put it in the background, but I don't think it's going to be scrolling left or right yet. Yeah, so we've got a background that's basically just fixed. It's not really that interesting yet. Just trying to remember what... Oh, rotation speed. So this is part of the CPU parallax lock movement type. Is we've got this thing called rotation speed, which determines how fast we rotate, or we wrap the parallax around. So let's have a look. Okay, so that's working a little better. Just the problem is, as you can see, it just doesn't really doesn't cover the whole screen. So to fix that, we've got this thing called AGA Sprite Double. Wait, Sprite Double? Is that? I think that's it. I'll double check. That should mean that the screen is covered the entire time. Which, yep, it is. So that's not a problem. But we're only scrolling it left and right at the moment. So we need to make it scroll up and down. So we don't have any native built-in solution for vertical parallax, so we're going to need to make something. So I'm going to call this vertical parallax handler. And this is going to run. I'm going to make it run on timer expired every frame. So yeah, so every actor has a timer event, and I've said do this every 0 frame. So basically, every frame run this code, and I want to do some logic based on the See, let me just check something. Okay, so for parallax lock, I can use var4 and var5 to change the offset. So that's the the position from where it is normally. So I should be able to just change var5. So if I go set variable of actor var5, I'm just going to change it to 502. I'm not sure how well that's going to work. I'm just going to see what it looks like. Again, this is just an experiment. Maybe it worked, maybe it won't. Okay, so that's sort of going in the opposite direction. But fundamentally, we're getting there. So I'm going to... can I go minus camera Y divided by 2? Okay, so that's sort of working. Let's see if it loops. Oh, okay, so it doesn't loop is the next problem. So I'll need to make it... I'm going to need to add a modulus or something like that, or and bitwise and... Don't know if it... I don't know if that's going to work because it's a negative. If it doesn't work because it's a negative, then I'll just rework the logic a bit. Okay, I will need to so it's almost working. Do need to rework that logic a bit. I'll make it 255 minus camera Y. No, that because of the order of operations, it's not gonna. Because Scorpion doesn't do bed mass. I will need to rewrite that a bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I'll do 2 operations. So I'm gonna do minus camera Y. So that's the first pass. It's going to do that. Then I'm going to set it to 255 minus plus sector var 5, and then end 5. Yeah. Okay, it's not very efficient, but I'll see if it works or not. If it doesn't, I think I'm getting fairly close to getting working. Oh. No, that didn't work at all. I'll need to let me just check, is that? Yeah, 255 end. I might have to use a modulus operation, which is a bit slower than masks, but yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to come up with a faster solution. So that's almost looking okay. It does need to wrap, so I'm just going to try doing a mod 256. 2 mod. No, it's not mod. It's percentage to do the modulus. So it's probably just not liking that it's a negative number. Okay, so far it's looking okay. If I keep falling, yep. But as you see, there's no yeah. At some stage, I will rewrite this to be less it'd be a bit better performance. But I guess performance doesn't really matter on this. It's just a demonstration. So we're 95% of the way there. You can see that there is one problem left in that even though it loops back, snaps back, you it doesn't fill the whole screen. And even though we've got it doubling vertically, we can't double it horizontally. What we can do, well, we can't in the hardware, we can't double it horizontally so easily, unless we did something, with sprite multiplexing. That's a little bit it's not really well supported, so I won't try it. But let's make 2 copies of that pattern and hope it's going to work. So that's a ridiculously large sprite. It's the entire width of the screen and then the height of the screen twice. And yeah, so we've got a we have a 8-way parallax. You know what would be really cool though? Is double 8-way parallax. So instead of having 1 layer of 8-way parallax, we have 2 layers of 8-way parallax. Do you think we should do it, Acid Bottle? Does mean that we need, like, this is, like 16 colors. We do need to reduce it down to 4 colors which I'm not sure how well it's going to look, to be honest. If I go decrease color depth to 4, and then mirror diffusion. Don't know why it's not letting me I guess it doesn't really matter. I wasn't quite sure why it wasn't letting me use the other cut, but I guess that will do. So let's I'll need to do some more tricks here. So I'm gonna that first one is going to need to become the background color. And then I'll delete all of these colors. Hopefully it's not going to look terrible. I guess I could use clouds or something for the second layer of horizontal parallax, vertical or 8-way parallax. So that's one color, and then I'll put these in all of the slots. Yeah, I'll see if I can find a nice image of a cloud or something to use as my second layer of 8-way parallax. And then here, instead of 16 colors, I'm going to make it use channels 4 to 1. So that's just those two. Well, in fact, just to make absolutely sure I'm only using those colors, I'll just do that. And then I'll find a Sprite. Cloud background that I can use for the next layer. Okay, so that's working. It doesn't look that great in 4 colors, but again, it's the purpose of it is just to demonstrate that hey, you can do this sort of fancy parallax like that, 8-way 8-way parallax. Let's see if we can find a cloud. Or some clouds. We've got the clouds set. I sort of wanted something quite simple, something that will translate well down to 4 colors, but still looking okay. So what's that one is almost okay. I might come back to that one if I can't find another one that I quite like. We've got 2D clouds pack. So I do quite like. Yeah, I guess that's not. Don't know how well it's going to look when we reduce the colors, but we'll try it anyway. I'll better make a note of. Who's that one? That's by Sam. What's the? And that's public domain as well, so I don't need to attribute that, but I will make a note of it anyway. That's where I got it from. Can I? I guess I'll need to save that as well. Just cloud, and let's see what it looks like when we. Let's go canvas size. Let's go 256 by 256. Put that right in the middle. Actually, I realized I made a mistake here, which is I want the I want the clouds to be in front of the sky, obviously. So I should use these colors near the bottom of the palette, because when you're doing sprites, the sprites at the bottom are the ones that are the furthest back. And I'll just change that. I'll use 8 to 1. So it doesn't mean use all 8 sprites. It means start from 8 and then work its way downwards until it's used up as many as it needs to. Okay, so that's still working. So let's look at these clouds. I'll see what it looks like if I do that same reduce to 4 colors. Let's turn off. Yeah, let's just make it nearest color. Hi, Frozenwell. Welcome to the chat. I'm just working. I've been working on quite a few different things today, but right now I'm working on a sort of. I am working on 8-way parallax. Well, sorry, 8-way parallax for AGA with 2 layers of parallax. So that's something I've never done before, but so far it's going pretty good. Now let's have a look at what colors I want. So I don't want that blue background because that's going to be transparent. I do want those other colors. So I'll grab. So just that first color I need to grab, and let's put that in there. Let's grab that color. And then let's grab, that's actually just white. All right, so let's put that there. Okay, so now that that's done, I need to do 2 things. So I need to, yeah, I don't want contiguous on, so let's get rid of the back. Oh, no, before I do that, let's make our double. We need to make this twice so that it loops correctly. And let's just put guides in. Okay, so we've got a cloud background and we've got a sky background. Neither of those really fit the other art that well, but again, it doesn't really matter. This is just an experiment, just sort of demonstration. Cloud. So let's grab that. And actually, I might have. Let me just check. Okay, so need to align this so it's a 0, 0, which it is now. Yep. And let's copy that. So I'm going to parallax actor cloud. It's only going to be half the rotation speed. And that needs to be parallax cloud. And then, I need to make sure that it's a 4 color, but I'm going to use channels 4 to 1. So those ones are 8 to 1, and then 4 to 1. And so the background uses those colors, and the foreground clouds will use those colors. I will need to copy that, and I'm going to need to spawn the cloud. that should be enough just to get it working. I do need to tweak some things, which I'll get on soon. But I just want to make sure I can actually see both of them. Oh, they're a bit broken. There's, in fact, yeah, that's that's really broken. I don't know what I've done wrong there. Just check. So, because I didn't make it a sprite. Because it wasn't a sprite, it was using the blitter, and so it just completely ruined everything. Acid Bottle says, sorry to have walked up early night, Eric, but this has been a massive help for sure. Mark says, big glitch. Okay, so we're almost there. Just, I don't know why. Yeah, okay, so we've got one problem. We can't see the background anymore. We've almost got the two layers working. We've almost got the two layers working. I'm just not quite sure what I've done wrong here. Is it something to do with... Should increase the Z order of that anyway. So that could have been confusing it. And did I did delete the background, so it shouldn't be covering it up. Okay, so that's looking better. It was just the order. Okay, so okay, so there are some all right, so I need to fix a few glitches. So I'm going to make that the rotation speed of that one, and then that is going to be 0.5. I know it looks pretty ugly, but hopefully we'll get some replacement art to go in there. Well, no worries. I mean, I'll include this demo with the Scorpion pack, so you'll be able to pull it apart. Actually, it still doesn't. No, it still doesn't quite look right, and that's because I'm going to make that background as 0.25, and then that is 0.5, because we want the actual clouds to move slower when we're moving left and right. Bitbeam Cannon, Herok, now make the clouds also auto scroll to the left as well. Yeah, I think we could do that. Let's have a look. So we've got left and right on the clouds. Going up and down, it's a bit weird because the clouds and the background move at the same speed. Yeah, I mean, auto scroll will be pretty easy to do. I'll just make some changes here. So I've got this vertical parallax handler. I'm going to rename this. So I'm going to call this vertical sky handler. And then I want to make another one for vertical cloud handler. And this sky handler, that's going to be, I'm going to divide that by 4. And then that one's still going to be divided by 2. That should be vertical cloud handler. Vertical sky handler. Let's try that. Yep. Okay, so yep, I got vertical scrolling. The clouds move more than the sort of background sky. I know that art does look pretty ugly, and it's sort of, well, it's not the art's fault. It's the fact that I've reduced something that was like 256 colors before down to 3 colors, but it works for demonstrating the principle of AGA multiple layers of 8-way scrolling parallax. And yeah, so auto scroll, I guess, is the last thing. So we only want to do that on the clouds. We don't want to do it on the sky. We use var 5 for the Y offset. So I'm going to use so var 4. Let me just check the docs here. Oh, well, it says var 4 and var 5 offset. So it has to be var 4, which is the X offset. So I'm just going to go. Well, I'll duplicate that, and then I'm going to go actor var 4 equals actor var 4 plus 1, and then I'll do a condition. Is that going to work? I'll just see what happens. I think after a couple of seconds it might scroll off the screen, or it might not work at all. I'll just see what happens. Okay, so it's working. It's probably a bit too fast. And I expected it would break after it had looped around once, but it hasn't, so that's good. Yeah, it's just because it's going too fast, you don't sort of notice the the scrolling around as much. So I'm going to make it go much slower, and I'm just going to add a new variable here, and this variable is just going to be called timer, or cloud timer, and I'm just going to increase the cloud timer. It's going to be cloud timer plus 1. And then all we need to do is we need to say actor var 4 equals cloud timer divide by 10 or something. Again, I should be using bit shifting, but dividing is just easier to understand. Yeah, I mean, that's working. So you can see it's scrolling, and I can sort of also walk around. Yeah, no worries, Acid Bottle, and I probably should call it quits for the day as well. Um, Sometime tomorrow, I'll upload the source code and assets for all these. Um, and yeah, thanks heaps for to everyone for coming by the stream. I know I haven't streamed in quite a long time now, but I had a lot of fun with this one, and I do hope to get into more of a regular streaming habit. And uh, yeah, well, I will hope to see you all next time. Oops, forgot that I had a solid floor there, so we can't just fall out of the level. Okay. Oh, and one thing I usually do is I usually raid Amiga Live, so I will see if they're live now. They usually are, and they are. So I'm gonna send you all to Amiga Live, and yeah, I will. I'll catch you on the next stream.